India is the world's third largest aviation market, behind the US and China, and is the fastest growing. The history of Indian aviation is closely tied with that of Air India and state control, with its roots in the 1930s. So, how did India become the aviation hub it is today? Let's find out.
If you want to become a commercial pilot, kindly subscribe my YouTube channel to learn basic of ground studies to clear DGC ATPL and ATPL pilot examination.
Indian aviation kicked off in 1932 with the introduction of the first airline, Tata Air Services. The airline, founded by J.R.D. Tata, started as an mail carrier within India after winning a contract with Imperial Airways. The airline flew its inaugural flight in October 1932. Flying from Karachi to Mumbai, the airline progressed from a small freight airline to a commercial passenger airline. By 1938, the carrier was renamed Tata Airlines and was flying domestic flights to a number of destinations. J.R.D. Tata was himself heavily involved in the airline. He flew the airline's inaugural flight in 1932 and was India's first commercial licensed pilot. Tata Airways also played a role in the Second World War, carrying troops and supplies for Britain during the war. In 1947, following Indian independence, Tata Airways was renamed Air India, and the government took a 49% stake in the airline. The airline began flying its first international flights in the next year, flying from Mumbai to London on a Lockheed Constellation. By the 1950s, India was home to a number of smaller airlines operating in different parts of the country. Some notable airlines were Deccan Airways, based in Hyderabad, and Kalinga Airlines, based in Kolkata. Air India remained the national carrier, flying multiple domestic and international routes. In 1953, the Indian government nationalized the aviation industry, taking control of all major airlines. This resulted in the 8 major airlines being merged into 2 airlines run by the government. These 2 airlines were Air India and Indian Airlines. The 2 government airlines were simplified for efficiency. Indian Airlines operated domestic flights in India, and Air India focused on international routes. This led to a significant streamlining of operations, allowing the government to manage these airlines. Air India International, the new airline, was India's flag carrier and quickly became a major international carrier. Air India became known for its superior service and profitable business model, led by J.R.D. Tata, who stayed on as chairman of the airline post-privatization. The airline also became of the first few to purchase the Boeing 747, hoping to keep its status as a premier airline. However, the 1970s were marred with war and domestic disputes, leading Air India and Indian Airlines to struggle. Indian struggled in particular since it operated a number of unprofitable routes and was forced to manage its aging fleet. In the 1990s, the peak of India's financial crisis, India reversed its stance on regulation and allowed private airlines once again. By 1994, India repealed all laws regulating the formation of airlines and allowed the introduction of scheduled private airlines. This deregulation allowed for the formation of new airlines such as Jet Airways and Model-F. This laid the groundwork for the current Indian aviation industry. Following the 1994 reforms, India saw a number of airlines crop up. Air India and Indian Airlines continued to operate as government-run airlines. However, carriers such as Jet Airways and Air Sahara began chipping away at the legacy airlines, trying to establish themselves. India's deregulation also attracted foreign players. For instance, Lufthansa invested in Model-F, a joint venture airline that failed to succeed. However, Model-F did go on to become SpiceJet, a key low-cost carrier. The 2000s marked the beginning of India's aviation boom. Full-service carriers such as Air India and Jet Airways were challenged by a slew of low-cost airlines. Low-cost airlines drastically reduced fares, allowing millions more to fly and challenging the larger airlines. Notable examples of low-cost airlines were Indigo, SpiceJet, GoAir, and Airlines India. These airlines now occupy over 70% of the domestic market and continue growing. This explosion of airlines and low fares has propelled India into the third-largest aviation market, requiring thousands of new aircraft in the coming decades. The growth of the Indian aviation market has also attracted a number of foreign airlines. Carriers such as Emirates and Qatar Airways have become major long-haul carriers, flying to nearly a dozen cities each and holding a significant share of the market. Air India went full circle last year following the purchase of the carrier by the Tata Group. The carrier will be hoping for a major bounce back following years of financial difficulty. Moreover, with Tata also behind Wistarra, there have been reports of a merger in the coming years. While Wistarra has seen strong growth, new startups such as Akashware have formed. This airline is planning to deploy the Boeing 737 MAX this summer and seeks 18 aircraft by the time this year is over. There will undoubtedly be plenty of healthy competition in the market in this next chapter. As mentioned at the start, India remains the fastest growing aviation market in the world. This has meant both aircraft manufacturers and airlines are looking to expand into the Indian market. As the aviation industry starts its recovery from the current downturn, it has already seen new opportunities in the domestic market, and with the country relaxing its international restrictions, there are high hopes for the next chapter. Both Airbus and Boeing are pushing to sell their aircraft to the Indian market, which is set to buy nearly 2,000 planes in the next 2 decades. Airbus has found success with its A320, which is the common plane in India, while Boeing has dominated the smaller, yet growing, wide-body market. Airlines are also making a play to expand their operations. Wistarra recently became India's first private airline with a wide-body aircraft, hoping to capture the long-haul market. The fall of Jet Airways created a place for a new long-haul airline. Yet, even this carrier is finding its way back in the air. The coming years will see the Indian market continue to grow as more travelers start flying, and Indian airlines continue to expand,